Hello, my name is Rob Ramsden. I am the man behind TestingLimits.com, a prank, entertainment, social experiment channel. Now I'm going to try to go through this whole video without saying a single curse word. Let's see how that goes. But anyway, the whole purpose of this conversation, of this video, is to try to inspire other people to stop giving a crap about what other people think of them. To be your true, authentic self. Because here's the thing. No matter what we choose to do in this world, there's always going to be people that hate it, that don't like it, that want to make fun of you for it. And a lot of the times, those are people who are, already vibrating in a very low energetic state. Do not live your life just to make other people happy. I mean, think of it this way. If you're already going to have people who are upset with you, who don't like what you're doing, no matter what you actually do in this life, why live it to somebody else's standard? Now, of course, I'm not saying go out there and hurt anybody or anything of that nature. Of course, you still need to have respect for other people. But what I'm trying to say is it seems like a lot of people struggle with like an identity crisis. And it's like they want to be this person who they truly know, like that's who I am at the deep down in their core. But yet they're trying to be somebody else to make everybody happy. Well, here's the thing. If you are liked by everyone, then you are loved by none. You have to be able to be your true self, to be okay with some controversy in life. That's something I've actually learned really the hard way. And I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned with the Prank and Entertainment channel is I had to really step out of my comfort zone. For example, I recently just did a video. It's my first long form besides this one, but this will not be as nearly as long. But anyway, it's called the Poop in the Pants Pranks. Now, when I would go up to people, I'd be like, "Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. Everyone seems to be like laughing at me. Do you know why? Like, is there something on the back of my pants or something?" And about 5 times I got the answer, who cares? Who cares what other people think? One lady said, "Kiss my butt." And, she didn't really use butt. She used a different word. But like I said, I'm going to try not to curse here. But essentially, I think that was the biggest message, the biggest lesson that I learned from going through and doing the Poop in the Pants prank or social experiment per se. It was really interesting to see how different people reacted to these different scenarios. Me personally, I've always been really interested in like the human psychology, why people do what they do, what makes people do this, what makes people do that. And I don't know, it was a very interesting experience to get out there and do that social experiment / prank. It was also very nice to, be able to kind of put myself out there to make other people laugh, to give them some entertainment, to make their days. In the past, it was something that I could never do. I mean, 3 years ago, my mom couldn't even get me on camera. I was that bad with cameras. I hated the way I looked. I had no self-confidence. And, to be where I'm at now is an absolute game changer. It's about 3 years later. I do a lot of different content now. I have over 460 some videos on my personal YouTube channel. But yeah, I'll say that it's really been a life-opening and life-changing experience. Like once you get over that hump to where you really stop caring what people think of you, you really start to live for your true self. And I believe we should all do that. We should all be living for ourselves, because when we are living for ourselves, we love ourselves, then we can actually pour into others. And I believe that right there is key. So that's why I'm big on, who cares what people think? Be your authentic self. Be open, be honest. And with that, you will find people who naturally flock to you, and you will repel the ones who do not flock to you. And I believe that's something that we could all learn, we could all do. I'm living proof of it. I used to really care what people thought, and when I was doing that, I lived a miserable life. I always just wanted to be liked by everybody. But here's the thing, like, I know my value. Like, you should know your value. And you got to understand that, like, not everybody's meant to be in your life. And for me, that was like one of the biggest takeaways. Especially with that poop in the pants prank video. It was just life-changing. Most people are so enthralled with their everyday life that they're not even really paying attention to what's going on around them. Everyone, you're a character in somebody else's story. You know, you yourself, you're living in your own world, but so are they. And a lot of people, they have so much going on in life that they don't have time to sit there and pay attention to what you're doing, what you're saying. And, you know, in a way that could be freeing. You know, you can be your true self. You can do what you want to do. Of course, like I said before, without harming other people. And I truly do believe that we can succeed in life without harming others. You know, you don't need to be a scam artist. You don't need to be a liar, a thief, a manipulative person, a gaslighting person. Like, those things might get you somewhere faster, but then it's like, it's not very credible. It's not very inspiring. It's not very creative. It's not very good. Like, a lot of people, if you are that type of way, you should be feeling somewhat bad about yourself, because there's ways to reach success without that. And by being your true authentic self. You know, I find it very interesting. You know, to me, it's like a whole 360 flip in my mind. You know, I especially like doing the live. So like on YouTube Live, I go live Mondays and Fridays by myself, the Uncensored Talks with Rob. And then on Tuesdays and Saturdays, me and my homie Shane, we do the Unfiltered Talks with Rob and Shane. And occasionally we'll have special guests on there, like Ryan from the Everyday Depth podcast, which, by the way, if you want to see my full story, I did an interview with him and really broke down my whole life story, how I got to where I am, my past. You know, and if you guys are enjoying this, and if you watched this far, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that sub button and that bell so you can be notified when I am live. And you can come in, ask some questions. We are very open about everything. As long as you don't spam the chat, I'm not going to kick you. I have no mods. You know, I don't want to censor people. I don't want to filter people. Like, I want people to also be them true selves and be able to speak their minds. So, you know, I will say that it's almost like a weight gets lifted off of your shoulder. It's like, you know, once you found your people, because you can pretty much do whatever within respect to people, of course. And these people are always going to be there for you. They're always going to support you. They're going to love you no matter what you do. And again, with that, you're going to have the counterbalance where you're going to repel the other ones. And that's okay. You don't need to be liked by everybody. You really don't. I mean, that's really no way to be living your life. It's your life. Live your life how you want to live your life, my friends. You know, I don't know, this whole thing has been an eye-opening experience for me. Because now I'm able to be my true authentic self. I speak my mind. If you ask me something, I am going to just give you my up and honest opinion, whether I think you're going to like it or not. And sometimes that could be a bad thing. Some people get upset. Some people want to lash out and throw hate. And it's, you know, it is what it is. I can deal with it. I think that's the other thing I've liked about like being my true authentic self and getting into content creation and social media is the simple fact of like, I have extremely tough skin. There is not much that anybody can say to me that's actually going to provoke me anymore. And that's a big change for myself. Because before, man, you could say like, your hair looks bad, or get your hair cut, you're ugly. And like, I would actually take offense to that. Like, I would actually allow that to have like a place in my brain, and I would be overthinking it. And no, that's just no way to live your life. If you like your hairstyle, if you like how you look, then dress how you want to look. Do your hair how you want to do your hair, despite what the other people may think. It's your body. It's your life. Live it how you want to live it. So really, that's the topic I wanted to hit on with this longer form video here. I mean, it's not going to be too long, but that was really like my main goal of this video, was to try to inspire people to live their true authentic life. Because I have 3 really, really good, friends, best friends. I would consider these people family. And it's all from me coming out of my own comfort zones, creating content, getting to know people, and being my authentic self with these people, being honest, being upfront, learning how to communicate. Those things are key. It's not just relationships as in like when you're dating somebody, but it's also in your friendships and stuff. If you don't have communication, it's not going to go very well. If you guys don't have mutual likes, things of that nature, it's probably not going to go very well. And I will say there are a lot of people who do not like me. And I'm okay with that. I'm not losing any sleep over not being liked by certain people. A lot of these people that don't like me, I've gotten to see like their true character. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't really want to be around them. In my opinion, it's a privilege for me to give you my time and my energy, to be able to call you my friend, to have you in my circle. You know, and I think that's the other thing is like you need to be very specific on who you hang around because you will be a product of your own environment. The people that you surround yourself with, the way your home looks, all this is going to have an impact on you as an individual. I mean, I'm very picky on who I'll actually bring over to the place that I live because I believe your home should be your safe space and you should protect that energy. So you don't want to just have any Joe Smo over. I mean, I know a lot of people, they're social, they might want to mingle with people, things of that nature. Well, go somewhere else to get to know somebody first before you invite them into your home. I don't know. I believe this all does stem back to being your true, authentic self. I feel like you will live a more fulfilled life. You will be able to find your purpose. You'll be able to be in tune with your true identity that way. And so really, that's the biggest takeaway from everything I've done so far for the past 3 years. For those of you who don't know, I'll give you a quick rundown. I had a supplement business for 2 years. That failed, but I didn't give up. Because without that, I wouldn't have learned how to create content, how to get in front of a camera, how to love the way I look on camera, how to love myself. And from that, I developed my own cryptocurrency. And with developing my own cryptocurrency, it was this LAF. It was based off this clown who was like a serial unaliver type thing. I would try to go on Omeagles and try to make people think it was real, like for entertainment value, just to kind of, spook people. Because one thing about me is I've always found enjoyment in scaring people. And I think that's another reason why I founded the prank and entertainment channel testinglimits.com is because it was a way for me to express that and to have fun with it while still being able to make money off of it as well. And, right now, I'm not making money off of any of this stuff. It does take time. For a job right now, I currently work with some other content creators. I help them run some different channels. That's where my main source of income comes from. But it also gives me the freedom to be able to create content, to get out and do the pranks, to be able to film, to edit, to do everything. Because I'll be honest, I'm pretty much a one-man show. I do it all. Everything from the filming to the editing to the posting, manually posting on all these different platforms. Now, occasionally I do have my homie Shane with me, and he will run one of the camera angles as well, but it's still up to me to edit the stuff. And, I just feel like if everybody could find a way to be their true selves and to stop caring what people think, they would be so much happier with their own life. They would be able to live a fulfilled life and be able to dig into themselves, find their true purpose, find their true identity, and then live that. Instead of living this fake, masked identity where, they're doing it because they just want to be liked by everybody. They want to have a lot of friends. And, that brings me to, I guess, another point is like, you need to be okay with being alone. Until you find your true people, it's okay to be alone. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people will get into relationships just because they don't want to be alone. And I feel like that's the wrong reason to get in a relationship. Maybe they don't love themselves yet. Maybe they don't know how to communicate very well. Yes, there's some things you can learn while in a relationship, but loving yourself, learning how to be alone is not one of them. Or two of them, I should say. It's just, I don't know why. I mean, I can't remember why myself. I mean, I was at the point, like I've said before, that I was afraid to be my true self, to be able to talk to people, to be able to, I was afraid of being judged. But, not anymore. And I'm telling you, once you've learned to lose that fear of being judged, your whole life will change, my friend. Tune into yourself. Spend some time alone with yourself. Be able to dig deep. Let the emotions come out. If you need to cry, cry. If you're angry, be angry. But don't take it out on other people. I'm just saying, like, let these emotions come out. Because, emotions are energy. And if you just pent them up and you never really, process them and go through the motions, you're always going to have those regrets in your mind. You're always going to have that pent-up energy that's making you anxious, depressed, or, socially awkward. Like, all these things. It all has to come out. So don't quit holding yourself back, let it out, learn who your true self is, and then start living that. And the other thing is like, if you're afraid to talk to people, You got to understand that there's so many more doors and opportunities that open up for you once you learn to be able to actually talk with people. For me, with the AI pranks, the Aztec whistle pranks, the poop in the pants long form pranks, and the shorts that I made out of that, it was like I could literally talk to anybody. I could go up to anybody and say any fucking thing. Whoops, I did it. Well, hopefully that's the only one that I come out with. But anyway, I've learned to be able to do anything, to talk to anybody about anything, to confront anybody, even from behind as strangers. And like none of that stuff matters to me anymore. I used to be a very reclusive person, but once I started realizing like that's no way to live a life, I was then able to push myself outside of that comfort zone and change that whole dynamic. Now I'm at the point where I'm at now. And really my goal here is to inspire other people to create content, to be their true authentic selves, and to stop giving a crap about what other people think of you. That's I guess my biggest takeaway, my biggest message. The thing I really wanted to talk about here was to be yourself. You might hurt some people in the process, but that's okay. As in, like, they might not like you, I guess. Not actually physically hurting them. But some people, they might get offended or something, and that might hurt them. And you know what? If they're offended, well, then they're offended. There's not much you can do to change them, but you can do whatever to change yourself, to be your true self. So really, that's what I really wanted to get on here and talk about. So, if you guys haven't already, if you liked what I'm saying, if you like my message, I plan on doing some more of these long-form contents. They're only going to be on my personal YouTube channel here at Rob Ramsden, which is ROBBRAMSDEN. So yeah, I hope this inspires you. I hope you really start to think about this. And if you are looking for something to help you find your true identity, I do have something called the Rebuild Code. If you are interested in the Rebuild Code, you can always reach out to me. My email is in the bio here that you can reach out to, and I can tell you how I can hook you up with what I call the Rebuild Code, which is an identity rebuild system. It is the same system that helped me come out of my shell. It's the same system that made me the man I am today. So yeah, I really do appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Throw a comment in there, let me know, how you felt about this video. And there will be a lot more of these to come. So, thank you for joining me here tonight. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you learned something here. I hope I inspired you to at least be your true, authentic self. I love you, and hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Like I said, I'll be doing these very often, so thank you very much. And I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you. And thank you.